break down what you're doing right now. It's 8 o'clock in the morning. What are you looking for? What are you kind of focused on?
So I'm just getting my eyes, zeroed in on what's going on. I just walked in about 10 minutes ago to start getting my desk organized, and then I'm just starting my live room at 8. Checking my economic calendar because I don't like to trade into any economic news. So if there's any 8:30 numbers coming out or at 10 o'clock, I want to get ready and prepared for it. But just right now, I'm just going left to right, just checking out the futures contracts, where the overall markets are. Looking at some of the forexes, the pound, the euro, the dollar, yen, and looking at the index futures. I'm trying to buy the S&P futures because the futures 8 o'clock in the morning. Equity markets start at 9:30, but I got a lot of guys who trade futures when I come in at 8 o'clock in the morning. So whether it's the index futures, the crude oil, currency markets. So right now, everything is bullish right across the board here. So I'm not looking at anything really much here. Hey, let's take an aggressive long here. S&Ps go 85, go 84, go 84.89. Use 83 and 83 stop. Hey, S&Ps, take an aggressive long here. The 3 and the 5 minute time frames are reversing here on the diamonds and the S&P futures and the Nasdaq. But any push up, I'm buying this off the 15 minute time frames. Let's look to buy these S&Ps for maybe a 1 to 2.5 handle scalp.
I mean, seeing the market go from 1,000 to
26, almost 27,000.
27,000. I mean, now when you see a big dip, it's just like nothing.
Nah. I mean, it's like anything else. You don't get psyched out by it. It's not you're in a mindset where you're just prepared to see anything at any given time. And that's why, I tell people all the time, don't overthink things, So if you're going to trade futures, if you're going to trade stocks, or if you're going to trade foreign exchange, don't overthink. Just learn, look at the pattern, identify, and try to be number one on the right side of the market. And then wait patiently for the patterns to set up. And that's what I do all day long. Like right now, there's nothing going on, and I'm just waiting for patterns and trends to develop or a reversal here in the market. Where I come from, it's very simple. It's got to be about consistency. Number one is consistency. I learned a great story about consistency from a guy who was trading in the gold pit. He was a clerk making $100 a week, and he just got married, and he was having a baby, and he knew that this was the only time in his life that he could go from being a clerk to going into the gold pit to actually become a trader in the gold pit on the COMEX. And as a clerk, he was making $100 a day, so $500 a week back then. And he then took the same philosophy into the gold pit. Goal was to make $100 a day. After 1 month, he would then bump it up to 200. So if he lost 100, he stopped. If he made 100, he stopped. No matter what time of the day it was, he took his trading cards, put it in his pocket, and that was the end of it. So when I started trading upstairs, and for an individual at the time, I decided to tighten it up a little bit. So I would try to make $100 a day every week, then bump it up, and then bump it up each and every week. So after the first week, 100, the second week, 200, the third week, 300, and continually moving forward. So to me, that's the most important thing as a trader. You don't want to make $100 on a Monday, $100 on a Tuesday, lose 500 on a Wednesday, lose 200 on a Thursday, make 100 on a Friday. And overall, you're net in the red for the week. And if you continue to do that, you'll just eat up all your capital. The second word that I tell everyone that's super important is about discipline. So the greatest story I have about discipline is I had $3,000 to my name. The first trade I ever did was an option. I was on the floor of the American Stock Exchange, and there was a stock that was right behind me called American Can, and it was a Dow stock, and the stock was trading above 51 and change, I believe, something like that. And I bought an option. I think it was October, and I bought a Feb 50 call. So a call option is that you're hoping that by the time sometime between then and February, that the stock price would go higher, and the call option that I bought at 2 3/4 would be higher than what I purchased it at. The stock started tanking over the next couple weeks and then months, and I think it traded all the way down to $41 a share. And my $3,000 investment was actually worth pennies because I kept on buying all the way down, utilizing the whole $3,000. And I would never forget, about a couple weeks before the option expired, standing on the floor, my head in my hands, and a guy patted me on the back and said, "Hey kid, go home. You can't turn the machines back on." A week before expiration, the stock, if I remember correctly, to my best recollection, went from 41 to like 54. And at 3:45 in the afternoon, right before the markets were going to close, my father walked over to me, who was a floor broker. He was a member, and he said to me, "Are you out?" And I said, "I'm out," because the stock was trading higher and I sold all my options out for a pretty nice profit. He said to me, when I came on the floor of the exchange on Monday, I found a penny faced up. And I said, "Oh, okay." He said, "What did you learn from this?" I said, "Whenever you have a losing trade, you look for a penny faced up." And he said, "No, you never average down." So to me, that was, again, the fact that preservation of capital, I learned the hard way. I got very, very lucky. And you basically do not want to average down. When you're wrong, you're out, and you go back in, you can always make it back up again. And that was probably the greatest lesson I ever learned. My first trade, I learned about discipline. The third key word is confidence. That to me is like, wake up every single morning and you do this, and traded my own money for practically my whole life. You don't think about it. You just go in and you're confident based upon the skills and the tools that you have in front of you. And that's what I built Ticker Talker for. I built Ticker Talker, and I built all the technology here that's within Ticker Talker to give the novice traders, the retail traders, the most sophisticated traders, the proper tools within the platform that I created. The fourth word is patience. As you saw today, there are some lulls in the day, and I'm very patient, waiting for the opportunity to address and wait patiently for those patterns to set up. And then the fifth key word is that you have to have the passion to do this every single day. I'm 56 years old. I have more passion in me now than I did when I first started.